When it comes to some of the biggest games of all time, it's kind of hard to look past OG Fortnite, and there's a reason why so many people look back fondly on it. I still remember playing for the first time and my friend showing me how to dance in the lobby, and then we proceeded to get in a fight 10 minutes later because I was chopping down trees and showing people where we were. And I even still remember my first win and just a bunch of the other great memories along the way. So with that being said, this video is going to be me trying to just sort of analyze and lay out everything that I've thought about that basically made the early days of Fortnite so good. And, why I liked it so much and why so many other people liked it so much. And just for reference, I started playing in the middle of Season 1, and I kept playing religiously up until about Season 6 or 7, even after my friends stopped playing. So I kind of feel qualified to give this talk and just try to figure out, what is it? Why do people love the early days of Fortnite so much? And from an outside perspective looking in, I can understand why you might be confused, and people kind of get angry when you trash on the new seasons, so let me try and explain it to you. A conclusion that I see a lot of people reach is that it's just nostalgia, right? Oh, these people are definitely just trying to relive old memories, relive their childhoods, relive being a noob on Fortnite, because what else could it be? People often look at it and say it's definitely just nostalgia, and then they just really stop looking into it. But I'm sorry, that's not the case at all. It definitely is part of it for many people. I mean, there's no denying that. But there's a reason the OG season did so well. I mean, they literally broke the all-time player record at one point. So, no, it's not possible that it's just nostalgia. It can't be the only reason. There has to be more to it. Why was early Fortnite so good? And why do so many people wish that Epic would just go back to the old map and never switch back? So let's start off by looking at the gameplay, because it was a lot different back then. Forget the sweats and the tryhards, there were always players that were better. I realize it's a lot more extreme now, but just listen, alright? I feel like back in the day, you'd drop into, say, Salty Springs, Pleasant Park, Tilted Towers for example, and there'd always be some fun action right off the bat. There'd at least be somebody in your building, or the building next to you, and you'd have a fun fight with them right away, even pickaxe fights happen a lot, which were pretty annoying, but whatever. Anyways, there was always these zones in each town that would have some more, intense fighting. In Tilted, on the side of the clock tower, that huge street, there'd always be fights from people coming out of all the buildings. Or in Pleasant Park, there'd always be a fight when you're crossing through the courtyard to the other side of the houses. It was just always a lot of fun, but I feel like in the later seasons of Fortnite, wherever I drop, most of the time it just feels like nothing is going on, or all the people that landed with me are bots, which are just really boring fights. I don't know why bots are in the game. Even if you do get a lot of people landing with you, the setup of these new towns is just really weird, and all the fights feel like they have no depth to them. And I know a lot of you will roll your eyes when I say this, but I genuinely think that Epic struck gold with the map in the first couple of seasons, and they literally made the perfect map that just played amazing. All the towns were great and had unique features, like the soccer field at Pleasant Park, or the huge amount of trees that made up Wailing Woods, or, the fact that Lazy Links was a literal golf course. And also, it just felt like the mid-game fights between locations always had an interesting twist to them, when a bunch of teams would find each other in the middle of the river. And just, I don't know. The fights felt like there were more ways to win them than just build like a maniac. I feel like if you just positioned yourself correctly, you could almost beat anybody, no matter how good they were. And on the maps nowadays, it just doesn't have the same flow. And there's something off about it that honestly makes the game super boring. But whatever. So speaking of flow, you can't deny that the old weapons are without a doubt better. Now, don't get me wrong, 200 pumps should have never been a thing. That was completely broken. But aside from that, the loot pool was simple, which was perfect. Do you want a pumper attack? Both of them are good. Do you want an SMG or a sniper? Both of them are fun. And back in the day, people literally team kill each other to get scars. But still, even then, the normal ARs were really solid weapons, so you could just use those. It's really difficult to explain, to be honest, but the old weapons just got the job done, and I know a lot of people will disagree with me on this, because you got stuff like the drum guns back in the day where you just spray through people's boxes and into your soul, or walking into a random building and getting killed by a trap. But I think for the most part, the weapons and the loot pool was really balanced and nothing was too overpowered. Nowadays, I genuinely have no idea what I'm picking up, and everything just feels really weird to use and has stupid names. And, in theory, the weapon customization and stuff sounds great, but it just makes it super complex. Like, just give me my normal pump back. I'll just say two last things about the actual gameplay, and then I'll move on to some smaller stuff. First of all, I mentioned it briefly before, but the bots actually take the fun out of the game. They are so badly programmed, and they make the whole game seem so unrewarding, especially when they're the last person alive and it just gives you the free win. Like, seriously, all my lobbies nowadays are just filled with like 50 bots. And victory royales used to be rewards to get. I mean, we used to spam our wins on our Snapchat story, but honestly, nowadays with the amount of bots, it's just completely meaningless. At the very least, they could just make the bots decent. Like, it's a free kill every single time you run into one. Like, come on. And second, where did all the cool updates go? We used to get fun stuff all the time, like the hoverboards and the shopping carts, or new weapons that were actually enjoyable to use, the hunting rifle, or just stuff like the bouncers that added a little fun. And by the way, those were taken out of the game for no apparent reason. But let's be real. It got to a point around Season 7 where it was clear Epic was taking a different direction with the game, trying to make it easier for noobs to get wins. They started adding game-ruining vehicles like the planes that, with no skill at all, you could just ram through somebody's builds and kill them. Another obvious example of this is the mechs in Season 10, which the whole community complained about, and Epic just, pretended not to hear us. There's a bunch more examples of that I won't get into today, but, look, I get it. Epic is a business and they need to turn a profit any way they can, but it's just super lazy in my opinion. I feel like there's better ways to approach these things that can make the game more enjoyable for everybody. So the last thing I'll say about it is it goes back to the thing I said earlier. Victory royales don't feel rewarding if I'm holed up inside of a mech all game, absolutely destroying everybody. Like, come on. But let's get into some of the quote-unquote less important stuff, but again, just hear me out. Let's start with skins. Now, sure, they don't really affect the gameplay at all, but in a sense, they kind of make it more fun. The first couple battle passes had a really cool theme and great skins that I look forward to unlocking. We had the Knights in Season 2, the Astronauts and the John Wick in Season 3, the Omega Lights from Season 4, which, by the way, one of my friends still chirps me all the time for not getting the lights. But anyways, the point is, all these battle passes were worth grinding for, kind of giving you something to look forward to, and a reason to play the game more. But nowadays, these battle pass skins are always so ugly and it's not even funny. What the heck is this? This skin is actually so bad. Again, I think it's another thing Epic does strategically, because if the battle pass skins are too good, then nobody's gonna buy item shop skins and they'll make less money. But seriously, get it together, Epic. And since we're already talking about skins, I might as well mention this. The new graphics aren't bad. It's just the old graphics were way better. Now, I know, yet again, this seems like a stupid complaint where I'm just hung up on the past, but it's something about these old graphics, man, that just made the skins and the entire map around it look way better than it does nowadays. I noticed this in a lot of games, like even Minecraft. When it starts to look too realistic, it just makes the experience a lot less enjoyable. And we were talking about the old map earlier. I feel like the graphics helped with the flow of it all, making different areas of the map feel, well, like different. Nowadays, everything just feels the same, and it's kind of gross looking, but you know what? Enough complaining. It's really difficult to explain exactly what it was that made the old Fortnite so good, and obviously, I'd be an idiot to ignore the fact that nostalgia plays some sort of role in it, but I hope these reasons that I gave opened up a different perspective about why the OG days of Fortnite and the 2023 OG season were so much fun. Who knows, maybe I'll make another video in the future on this, because there's definitely a lot of other stuff to talk about, but as always, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe to help me feed my family.